In this episode, we discuss 7 things that age you faster. This is especially crucial at midlife, when we find some unhelpful habits and behaviours creeping in, as well as a cocktail of hormonal changes.
We also give you tips on how to shift the needle on these things so you can live a healthy, happy, youthful and long life. Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Midlife Mentors with me, James.
And me, Claire. How are you all? It's a glorious day here in London.
It is. So today, what's the topic? We're going to be talking about, very specific, 7 things that age you faster.
Dun, dun, dun.
Once we know these things, we can take steps to minimise or avoid them, right?
So obviously, in our 40s, 50s and 60s, we are not going to want to be doing things that are going to age us faster, are we? No. So we're going to go through 7 of those, and we're going to do that in a minute. We're going to give you an update. Have we got any updates? I feel like we have.
Oh, Claire, we've been so busy. I mean, May has just been the most incredible month for us in the best way, but so busy.
It's been the best month.
What did we do? On Sunday, we were down at Sarah Davison's Breakup Recovery Retreat, which was awesome to be part of that.
That was really beautiful. So we just gave a talk around how to stay strong in body, mind and soul when you're going through breakups and divorce.
Yeah.
So it was a really beautiful session, actually.
And then on Monday, I was delivering a corporate workshop on menopause and andropause support, actually, so how you can support your partner through this time. So it's great to see a company. There's like hundreds of people on that, so that was amazing.
Yeah, that was good. What else have we been up to? Oh, we're working on a very exciting... We will reveal it.
Oh, yes.
We will reveal it in the next podcast and on our social media channels before then, actually. But we're running a 4-day mini workshop all around...
Free training, this is.
So completely free training all around optimising hormone health and boosting your metabolism.
That's right. So if you have ever wanted to know more about that, then stay tuned because we will be announcing details very, very shortly. We're going to be doing a live training over 4 days, taking you through all you need to know about hormones and your metabolism.
And why, actually, and why they really, really do impact how you're getting stuck with body confidence, losing those extra pounds, why you're getting stuck with your mindset, your emotional well-being, because it's really, really all down to that. So excited. It's the first training we're doing on that. We're going to be absolutely smashing it with you all and can't wait to share more details, but it's not live just yet. We've got a few more tweaks to make, so once we've got those, we'll put that out in the world.
We will indeed.
So,
right,
shall we? I mean, there's more things, but we're nattering, and you're probably thinking, come on, tell me what I might be doing. Or actually, you might want to switch off now, because if you are doing these things, you might be thinking, oh no. But again, what we'd say is little steps. Even if you change a few of these, you'll be making massive shifts for yourself. So
yeah, I should say that right at the start, because often we get asked this, don't you? What's the one thing I can do? And I wouldn't think of it like that. Doing something's better than doing nothing, but we need to consider like all these factors at midlife as like a portfolio effect. So rather than focusing on like if I'm going to change one thing, I think you want to just like make lots of small changes. That's often easier to do and will have a bigger net effect as well, because you're dealing with the problem more holistically.
Yeah, but I would say, like sometimes, we need to start somewhere. So I think even if you just change a couple of these, if you do realise and think, my goodness, that really sounds like me, or it really resonates with you, then just start somewhere. Start with little steps and just start with a few. You don't have to do all of these, but obviously the more you do, the more youthful you're going to feel and look.
Okay,
right.
So let's talk aging, and specifically, factors that are going to make you age faster. And these are all backed by research and science. Number 1, unsurprisingly, is
stress. Stress. So we have done whole podcasts on stress. Actually, we go into organisations and talk about the hormonal effect of stress and what's going on. But honestly, we cannot express enough how actually being under the constant hum of stress can aid you like nothing else. It's really crazy. There's been loads and loads of research associated with accelerated aging and increased insulin resistance as well, but also brain health. You know, when we talked to Ben Webb on one of our podcasts a few months ago, we were talking about the effect of stress on brain health and actually how it inflames the brain and actually ages the brain faster. So that's one thing, but also from a hormonal perspective, we've got a mother hormone called progesterone, and we've talked about this on our hormone podcast as well. We've got a mother hormone called progesterone, and when it's going down to create, there's two arms that come off it. When it's going to one arm, which is creating cortisol, which is obviously stress, it's actually robbing from the other side, the other arm, going from DHEA into our sex hormones. And DHEA is actually known as the youth hormone. So you can imagine if you've got two arms and it's going across onto cortisol, then it's robbing from DHEA and actually robbing from your youth hormone, which is obviously going to be aging you considerably. So we really, really, really want to manage our stress levels to help, prevent us accelerated aging, basically.
And I'll just say a point on that. It's very good on the hormone thing as well, because a lot of people sometimes misconfuse the symptoms of menopause and andropause with natural aging. Yeah. But the reason for that is if your DHEA is low, that's your youth hormone. But then there's also, if you've got less of that, you've obviously got less estrogen for women, less testosterone for men. And they play a role. If they're low, you're going to have things like low energy, low confidence, low motivation, which in turn, you might think, it's aging, but it could be a stress factor at play.
Well, also, emotionally, you can age yourself. I know that sounds a weird thing to say, but emotionally...
You do it to me every day, Claire.
How positive we feel about life. That's all really, really linked to stress and cortisol and all these other things that come into play when we're raising our levels of cortisol. There's so many other hormones that come into play that affect our mood, our cognition, all sorts of things. So if this is number one, potentially for a reason, James will say his other ones are more important as well. But I would say this is number one because it's the one thing to really, really start dialing in and start managing your stress levels. We've got loads of tools, loads of hacks even in our 4-day mini course that we're going to give you as well. But just go back and listen to our podcasts. If you're not a regular listener, go back and have a scroll through because we've got loads and loads around stress as well. So that's number one.
And number two might be surprising. It's actually low vitamin D levels. Now, we've talked about vitamin D before. It plays a crucial role in supporting our immune system and supporting our hormone health as well, particularly our sex hormones. Technically, it's not actually a vitamin, it's a steroid hormone. We synthesize it ourselves via exposure to sunlight, but those of us that don't live in sunny climes are likely to be deficient in it. So there's been a lot of research focused on vitamin D. Low vitamin D is also linked with poor skeletal health. It's one of the main causes of osteoporosis as we age. But new research has actually found vitamin D receptors in the nervous, cardiovascular, and the endocrine system. So the endocrine system is our hormonal pathways. So there's more and more research looking at what vitamin D and its impact on these areas. There's definitely an association between low levels of vitamin D and diseases associated with aging, such as cognitive decline, depression, osteoporosis, cardiovascular disease, hypertension, type 2 diabetes, and cancer. And that's not also, just to re-emphasise, it does play a role in our immune system and our hormonal health. So listen, if you're not getting that exposure to sunlight, vitamin D is definitely something worth supplementing with as you age.
Yeah, absolutely. We always tell all of our clients to supplement with D3. So the next one is, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news again. It's obviously going to be excess alcohol. So excess alcohol, of course, is going to age you. Not only does it dehydrate you, which will obviously affect your bodily functions, but also your skin health, actual skin. It will also inflame your body. We know alcohol does inflame the brain. It inflames the gut. It inflames basically our entire system, our liver. And also it weakens the immune system. It disrupts sleep again, causing more stress. So you can see how actually some of these ones are going to link into the other six. So excess alcohol, it's one of those things, again, that we saw a lot. I mean, there were loads and loads of articles in the press around, when we went into lockdown, alcohol sales went through the roof. But then at the same time, a lot of people actually decided to cut back on alcohol. And everyone, everyone might know the 1 Year No Beer group on Facebook. if you are struggling, I'm just giving them a shout out actually, if you are struggling with excess alcohol consumption, do really consider reaching out. Join the 1 Year No Beer group. It was a massive source, and still is a massive source of inspiration to me, to so many others. I've actually made some really good friends. If you're listening to this, thank you for being such a support to me. When I decided last August to really look at my alcohol consumption, I wasn't drinking loads, but I also knew, doing all the work that I do, the effect of alcohol on how I was feeling, my body, my hormones and everything. So do reach out if you're really struggling, and make sure that you get the support that you need. But as I said, like on the whole aging side of things, you really want to be cutting down your alcohol. So that's my little advice on number 3.
And number 4 is eating processed food. Now, hey, no surprises here, we know that processed food is bad for our health. We've got something now called ultra-processed food, which has been through so many processes. Our body effectively doesn't recognise it. It gets a different hormonal response to what we'd expect from food, overrides our natural hormonal response. It's usually very calorific. We usually tend to overeat it. It's usually high in sugars. But specifically, the European and International Conference on Obesity did a study and discovered that eating 3 or more servings of ultra-processed food per day doubled your shortening of the strands of DNA and telomeres.
You've got a little frog in your throat
there. I
did.
So telomeres, for those that don't know, are the proteins that are found on the end of chromosomes, and basically the length of those is used as an indicator for biological aging. So the longer they are, the younger you are. The shorter they are, the older you are.
That's nuts, isn't it?
It's a marker of biological age that many scientists use,
as well as glycans.
Yeah, and generally it's a indicator of general good health as well. So the longer they are, the better your health is. The shorter they are, potentially the worse your health is. So eating processed food doubles your shortening of these strands of DNA and your telomeres. So you've got massively increased risk of developing several diseases, all of which are age related. That's also not to mention that processed foods will cause you to put on more fat, will cause you to overeat, will cause inflammation in the body, and are packed with sugar as well.
Okay, speaking of body fat, one of the surest things that's going to age you faster is actually excess body fat. Not something that necessarily all of us want to hear, but it's the truth, and we're never going to shy away from the truth, right? So the Laboratory of Molecular Biology in Maryland found that high levels of body fat is linked with inflammation and oxidative stress, and the creation of ROS, which is reactive oxygen species, which age the cells, so they create an aging effect and disrupt the endocrine system. So the more fat you have, basically, the faster you're speeding up your aging process. So again, it is about dialing in, like James said right at the beginning, it is about not necessarily choosing one of these, but we all need to start somewhere, but certainly dialing in your movement side of what you're doing. Just get outside, move your body, because again, that will impact how you're feeling with your stress levels. It's going to impact actually so many others of these elements. If you go out, you exercise, you're going to reduce your levels of stress, you're going to feel happier, you're going to feel more positive. That's going to be aging you less and more slowly. So I would say just get out, do something you enjoy, and we all need to start somewhere. So even if it's just a brief walk around the block, but it's so worth doing, especially with that latest research.
Okay, and linked to that, again, you see these are all interlinked, as Claire said, is of course sugar. And we've talked endlessly about sugar and how bad it is for you. So obviously it's highly calorific, so it's highly addictive. So you're likely to overeat, you're likely to put on more weight, which is going to combine to those other factors we've talked about, but it also harms your gut biome. And here's the thing, when you eat sugar, it combines with proteins to form glycation end products. And these basically have the effect of stiffening the collagen and stiffening the skin. So that's making you actually physically look older. And sugar also causes inflammation in the body and the brain. It's one of the factors that sugar is linked to significant brain aging.
It's nuts.
So again, we just want to cut down on sugar. So take away from this so far, lower your stress, start supplementing with vitamin D, and just like clean up your diet
and move a little bit. Just move your body, move your butt a little bit, and the benefits will be huge. And
now, the last one might be a bit surprising, actually.
Yeah, but I really
wealth
liked
of research on
this one. So this is the final one. A lack of social connection. Now, there was a lot of chat around this, about the impact on mental health actually around social connection, especially, or the lack of social connection, especially around when we went into lockdown. I mean, people's mental health took a nosedive because of that lack of social connection. And as human beings, we all, right from the time began, when we first started walking around on Earth, you know, we wanted that sense of connection, that sense of belonging, right? That sense of community. And when we don't have that, obviously our mental health suffers, but also there is new research, there's a robust body of scientific evidence now that says that the lack of social connection is an indicator of premature mortality. And that's crazy. I think that's so interesting that actually we are hardwired to have that sense of belonging and that sense of connection. And when we don't have it, we have a higher risk of premature mortality. So what we would say is we are blessed, I suppose, in a sense, that we have social media and we can connect with people. You know, I mentioned 1 year no beard. That wouldn't have been available to me. It wouldn't have been available to anyone pre-digital era. And it really helps me, and it helps a lot of people. So there are lots of groups out there that you can connect with and that you can feel like you belong to and be part of a community. And that's a blessing. But I would say there's nothing like having that one-to-one, face-to-face interaction with people. And now that we can, now we're out of lockdown, and now we're out of the terrible couple of years that we had, we would urge you to go and make those social connections. You know, go and join a hobby that you love, join a class, do something that really makes you feel like you have a sense of belonging and a shared interest with people, because it will, according to all the research, and I can see, of course, how this absolutely makes sense, that we're going to be more positive for the future. We're going to have a more positive mindset. We're going to be happier, which then our body responds to and won't have that, you know, element of premature aging. So yeah, that was an interesting one. So let's just
get out there and see your friends.
Yeah.
Get some hobbies, because also related to that, I think we learned that
yes,
learning new skills late in life and taking out hobbies and things like that
helps your brain health
as well.
So stops your brain aging. So learning something new. That is why I went to some dance classes. I decided to try. Well, I did start learning Spanish. I've got a bit rusty now. But actually, it starts to rewire the brain in new ways and keep it young and healthy.
Yeah, exactly that.
But just to recap, so we've got number one, we've got stress. So these are the 7 things that age you faster.
Let's give a tip for each one. So your stress, cut down on it. And most of that, go back and find our podcast on stress, because we share loads of tips there. Different things work for different people, but find a way that's going to work for you.
That which relates into to one of the points here. Movement, practicing meditation, breath work, mindfulness, all of that sort of stuff, and actually your triggers. Look at who you're surrounded by. What can you do around stress? The number 2 is low vitamin D levels. Obviously, supplementation. Again, always make sure that you speak to your GP before just willy-nilly going and taking supplements. But we would say that vitamin D is a really important one. You know, all the body research that came out, even with COVID and what's going on there, supplementation with vitamin D was really important.
And to get outside as well is really beneficial to you, to be out in nature. It actually helps reduce stress as well. And of course, if you get exposed to sunlight, you're going to make your own vitamin D.
The next one is excess alcohol. Now, reach out to those groups. If you haven't checked out 1 Year No Beer, I'm in there. It's amazing. But also, you know, get support from anyone that you connect with. People do get the right support. But also, what I would say, some people are like, oh, I don't really have an issue with it. You know, it's only a couple of glasses of wine every night or whatever, or then I binge at the weekends. What I would say is it is essentially a poison that I'm not going to sit on and rant, because I still, I'm not completely teetotal. But what I would say is, it's not serving you, it's not relaxing you, it's not reducing stress, it's actually building stress, it's building toxins in the body. So maybe you could just look at your week and go, okay, maybe I'm not going to drink in the week, and then I'll just have a few drinks and moderate it at the weekend, or work out when you're socialising, when those are, and actually don't drink in the week. So that's what I would say. But the main thing is do reach out and get support, because if it's something that you think that you might want to cut down, it's probably something that is preventing you being the fullest version of yourself. Number
for eating
4.
processed food. So the occasional treat here and there is not a problem, but if you're having a lot of processed food in your diet, a lot of prepared meals, stuff you chuck in the microwave, just be aware of that and cut it back.
Absolutely.
Start moving towards more natural foods you're preparing yourself.
From field or seed to table in as few steps as possible. That's what we always say. So next one, number 5, was excess body fat. Just making sure you move your gorgeous body, appreciate it, love it. It wants to be moved. It wants to feel good and strong. So that could be anything from taking a walk to doing some bodyweight exercises. But again, that's going to help link with stress. And actually, it makes you feel good. It's going to give you a nice endorphin rush.
Cut back on that sugar. So just be aware of, particularly of the hidden sugars. Start looking at food labelling, see how much sugar's in it, and aim to decrease the sugar you're ingesting on a daily basis.
And then the last one is a lack of social connection. So make sure that you are going out there as much as you can. I know it's difficult if you are an introvert. Obviously I am. But, if you're, just go out and join some groups, find a hobby, make sure you've got that social connection, and do what you can to get that, because I think the body of research all shows that we really, really need it, and it'll be good for your body and soul.
Get out there, see some people, enjoy your life.
Yes.
I hope that's helped. I hope you can now basically take some steps to age slower, which we all want to do. And
we'll give you the details of that 4-day mini course really, really soon. It won't be until the next podcast, but if you do follow us on our social media handles, we're on Instagram at Midlife Mentors. We also have our free community on Facebook, which is the Midlife Mentors community. You can obviously search for us individually. We'd love you to reach out to us on Facebook, and friend request us. We'd love to know what you think about the podcast. We'd love to know topics that you want for the podcast. Just reach out to us, because we sit here recording these things, and we would love to know that you're getting something from it. We'd love to hear from you. So just reach out to us and feel free to friend request us on Facebook. Anyway, till
next time.
Sending you lots of love. Bye.
Yeah.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under the Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.